Let's talk about MicroStrategy, stock symbol MSTR. This is a volatile stock, guys. This is one of the more volatile ones out there that you can trade, largely tied to the price action of Bitcoin as it's hitched its wagon with that particular crypto asset. Now, what I want to do in this video is look at the technicals of MSTR. I want to be cognizant of what's going on in Bitcoin as well, but with MicroStrategy, we need to be looking at what is taking place on the stock with this massive pullback. Where is it finding support at? And what are the price levels that we want to watch going forward? So let's go ahead and start that now. Now, off of the all-time highs, you have this declining resistance right here. And it's been popping off of it on a number of occasions. And just recently, as recent as Wednesday, actually, it broke slightly above it and closed above it, but it wasn't enough to be a deal breaker to say, okay, this trend line is done and over with. Just wasn't a definitive enough of a break to suggest that. So what we got the next couple of days, including today, was a pullback underneath this declining resistance. So that declining resistance is still in play here. It doesn't seem to be acting like it wants to break above it. Now, with that declining resistance in the short term, what you also formed was this triangle pattern. And this triangle pattern did end up seeing a breakdown back on February 21st. So that was a little while ago. It dipped down to the 200-day moving average and then came right back up to this level again and then sold off on Thursday and Friday. So there is some resistance here that we want to be paying close attention to. And that also aligns with the 50-day moving average. Even though on the 50-day moving average front, this red line, there isn't a lot of history with it. You can see it's been breaking above it and below it without much care in the world for that particular MA. Now, going back a little bit further, you also have some additional resistance here that seems to have lost a little bit of its fizzle because it broke down below it, came back above it. I don't know if that one has a lot of weighting, so we're going to go ahead and remove that one from it. For a while there, it mattered. I don't think it really matters now. But in saying all of this so far, I think what's the most intriguing aspect about MSTR is the strength that has been found at the 200-day moving average. And this isn't just a one-off event. It likes the 200-day moving average, and it's bounced plenty of times in the past off of it. You go back to September of 24, it bounced off of it. You go back to the August lows, which was a huge pivotal moment for the stock market. And what did it do? It bounced right off of it, and it really jump-started this massive run to the upside that saw it go from 115 all the way up to 500 plus. You go back in time even further, beginning of January 2024, it bounced off of it. And even in 2023, it bounced off of it as well. So this 200-day moving average has been a rock for the stock. Doesn't mean that it can't break below it at some point in the future. But if you're looking to trade it, man, this is where the key support lies. Now trading at 287 with a stop loss below, the 200-day moving average currently, which would be about 235. Yeah. 235. That's a wide stop loss. That's more than I'd be willing to take on any trade. That's a huge amount of risk for a stop loss. But if you can get closer to that with this possible ability for a pullback, yeah, that sets up as something opportunistic there to try to take advantage of, assuming that you can handle the volatility that comes with MSTR. Probably not my cup of tea. I'm just saying that now. I'm not a huge fan of that level of volatility, especially as it's tied so closely with the price action in Bitcoin. You go back a little bit further here, you can see where this whole breakout did end up starting. And the reason why I bring that up is that if this 200-day moving average did end up breaking, this would be one level to watch. You can see where it consolidated going from March all the way until October, and then it broke out of this thing and it just went completely parabolic. You also have a rising trend line. This rising trend line would fall a little bit higher than this breakout support level. So we have two support levels down here. So going forward, what I would be watching for, one, can we break above this resistance finally? And if we do, okay, you could probably see some short-term momentum come in where it goes from like 302 to 326 without a lot of resistance. Then it needs to be able to show that it can break above this and not just stall out on it like it did back on Thursday. If it can do that, then assuming that Bitcoin is also rallying with it as well, there's the potential for it to get back into the mid 350s. To the downside, obviously the 200-day moving average is a rock. If it comes back down there and tests it and can hold it, it provides the opportunity to bounce. If that doesn't hold, though, then these two support levels, one or the other, needs to come in strong and offer up some support for the stock. And we're in a very difficult market. It's not been the best of days for Bitcoin, and that's been reflected in MicroStrategy's stock price. With all of that being said, it's an incredibly volatile and high-risk trade. So when you're looking at considering buying it, you got to ask yourself, can I handle 5, 10, 15, 20% swings in the stock? Because if you can't, you probably shouldn't be trading the stock. It's a very volatile stock. For me personally, I know that this is outside my wheelhouse, not because I'm a bad trader, but because I have a pretty firm understanding of what I'm going to be able to handle from an emotional standpoint. Emotionally, this is not the kind of trade that I need to be making. It has far too much volatility to it, and I'm likely to make a bad decision. For others, that might not be the case. They may live and die by MSTR, or they're not trading as much capital, and as a result, they can absorb that from a dollar amount, so it's not going to stress them out. It'll stress me out, probably stress my family out too, because I probably won't be acting pretty favorably to what takes place if the trade goes against me. So keep that in mind when you're trading the stock. You want to make sure that the stocks that you're trading, it's something that you can mentally absorb and mentally handle. You don't want to trade stocks outside your wheelhouse. If you enjoyed this video, I would encourage you to like and subscribe, and let me know down in the comments below, are you trading MSTR? How are you handling some of this volatility of late? And what do you think about this stock's future prospects in light of what we've seen from Bitcoin of late? Let me know down in the comments below. Thank you, and God bless.